What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my beautiful co-hosts, Josh and John Luke. What's up, guys?
Ooh, full name today.
John
Make me feel tingly.
I like to just mix it up a little bit. Yeah, just wait till I throw your middle name in there. People didn't even know John Luke was just one full name. No, there's a secret middle name that people don't know about, JL. One of these days I'm going to leak it. Just you be careful.
John Luke,
guys,
Jordan Richard.
Joining us today, back on the show, is our good friend Jordan Richards. He's a producer and co-host of Wake Up with Ray G on Bets TV. He's on Twitter at your boy Jay Rich, and we are so hyped to have him back. What's up, Jordan?
I'm good. Thank you guys so much for having me back. I just have to ask you guys one question. Am I still the only guest to go 2 in 1 week? Is that still me? Am I the only guy to go 2 in 1 week?
Okay, so in a
so.
Monday to Friday range, maybe. But
yeah,
Jake Trowbridge was on the FanDuel show on Friday and is coming back on tomorrow. And so that'll be within a 1 week period. So maybe that counts. I think
Jake,
he might still
count
be
Monday
there.
to Friday.
We'll count. Then you win.
Yeah, we're gonna give it to you. You're at least tied.
Yeah, you guys know how much I love coming on the show, how much respect I have for what you do. Both of us do daily shows, but most importantly, your show is at a reasonable hour. Everyone knows the show's late at night. I hate it because I have to be up. I have to be up early. I got to work late. It's tough sometimes, but you guys, sweet spot for me. I love it. I love the show. Happy to be back. Excited to play some tiers today.
And
I don't think people realize how much we agonized over that decision, or maybe I agonized over that decision.
What, to go live every day
at 3 p.m.
If I
every day one, I was way too on board with that right away.
We started at 2 o'clock.
We tried a couple ones. We tried 1.
Yeah.
We tried 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah. I remember when we pushed it back.
Yeah.
And Jordan, we can't wake up, so that morning show wasn't even an option. But guys, if you have not checked out Jordan's morning show, the Wake Up with Ray GQ, it is phenomenal. These boys are live every day, like Jordan said, and they are putting out great information. So make sure you check that out. And if you're not up early, just watch the replay. You can start your day out with some Ray and some Jordan, and it is nothing but great information to start your day with. We got Jay Wall in here saying happy Tuesday. What's up, Jay Wall? Glad to have you here. And Kaysen says, how dare you guys put Teddy Two Gloves in the same rank with Trevor Lawrence? We haven't ranked anyone yet. It's just the thumbnall.
I know what Kaysen's talking about here, though. It's
is it in the thumbnail?
Yeah, the thumbnail.
It's
but
all
at the same
Jay's
time,
fault.
like, do they really not belong in the same tier?
Yeah, maybe we'll
I think that must have been preseason.
Jay in here saying JL's middle name is Virility. Is that true, Jay?
That's true. That is true.
Virility,
we all learned what that word meant this morning on our stand-up call. And when you Google it, there's like a little thing on Google, and it's just a picture of Russell Crowe. It's nice.
Is that a true fact?
It's true. It's Russell Crowe and Gladiator.
There's a couple other pictures, but that one definitely stands out.
Yeah.
I don't know why Joey said this, but he said, when I tuned in, I thought Josh was talking into a carrot. Josh,
I actually thought that too. I don't know what that was. It was like this little orange thing you had in your hand. I was like, yeah. What is that?
You look like a giant bunny. Bunny content creator.
What's up, Bam? Bam said, happy DK Skunker Tuesday. Yeah.
Yep.
Also, you know what I found out yesterday? I missed a whole thing with DK Metcalf. I was seeing all these jokes, and I had no idea what people were talking about. Did not know that I missed that going down with the IG model not too long ago.
Yeah, I missed
that entirely. And there was like 30 jokes. JJ made a joke about it, and I was like everyone's in on this, and I completely missed it. Craig saying jail phoning in a morning show half awake from bed would be another level of entertaining. Yeah, Jordan, maybe
just like stream our morning like calls that we do, and like I think that could be a show.
Chaos, yeah. I did do one morning show with recently with Troy King, our good buddy Troy, and I was asleep like 10 minutes before. And he's just like, wake your ass up. He's like, you want to go on the show? And I'm like, do I pretend like I'm sleeping right now? Maybe I just don't even respond and I just pretend like I'm sleeping.
What's up, Justin? Welcome in. He said, yo, an unruly drip. Welcome in. Glad to have you guys here. We got a couple questions in the chat. A reminder for everyone, we are going to be answering your questions throughout the show today while we do our quarterback tiers, but we will also be live right after this at 4:15 Eastern time for Fantasy Football Office Hours, doing nothing but answering your questions. Before we get into the questions today, guys, a couple things I want to remind you of. Number one, if you have not done so already, hit that like button on this video and subscribe to our channel on YouTube at Front Yard Fantasy. It is the easiest way to show your support for our show and the content we're making. And it makes sure you don't miss awesome episodes like this one with Jordan coming on to help us do some quarterback tiers. The first question we have in here is from Justin. He's asking, is Matty Stafford a top 5 QB rest of season? Starting out strong. Jordan, what do you think on this one?
It's tough. So if anyone, maybe you guys don't watch our show, maybe you do. I called him Carson Stafford weeks ago, and we've been disparaging Matthew Stafford ever since. Is he a top 5 quarterback rest of season? I would say absolutely not, especially the way he's been playing. Could he get there? Potentially. But the Rams have a tough schedule. I would say more than likely not a top 5 rest of season. I'd prefer to stream probably, or depending on who you got, I would take Matthew Stafford maybe 30% of the time as a QB1. Not quite top 5 though. Too much for me.
Yeah, I keep waiting for this Rams offense to kind of turn it around. Know what I mean? Get things rolling again. Like I expected this to just be a funk, but we haven't seen it. And until I see it, I'm with you, Jordan. I don't think you can consider Matthew Stafford in that territory. Josh, are you considering him a top 5 guy?
I mean, I'm trying to find this funk you guys were talking about because he's pretty consistent in my opinion. Last week
he's had 3 straight games with pick sixes. That's pretty consistent.
Ooh, that hurts your fantasy team a lot. Yeah. Oh man, not the pick 6. Now I'm joking. No, that sucks from an NFL perspective. Is he a top 5 fantasy quarterback? No, they're probably not. There's still other guys that I'd rather have. Probably about 5 though. So is he top 10? Yeah, in my mind, he's definitely top 10.
Yeah, top 10.
Joe, what say you? Are you more in line with Josh?
What say you? Actually, I'm more in line with Jordan here. I'll put Matthew Stafford just outside the top 5 rest of the season. I'll take Josh Allen over him, take Lamar over him.
What did I say? Were you listening to what I said? You're saying exactly what I said.
I didn't listen to a word you said, Josh. I'm going to be honest. I listened to Jordan and then I tuned out.
I said there's 5 guys I'd take above him.
Yeah, then I fully agree with Josh.
Okay.
We got Case in here.
Sorry, I'm feeling feisty today.
Really, that's Simon's fault for saying, do I agree with Josh or Jordan there?
Fair.
It was 2 slightly different opinions. I asked who you were in line with. I apologize.
They sound very similar.
Kaysen said, ever since I started watching you guys, I've been on a winning streak of 5, was on a losing streak of 4. And they know what they say, correlation always equals causation 100% of the time. So it's got to be related, Kaysen. Smokey the Cat wants to know, hope you guys had a great holiday. Gallup or Bateman this week? Josh, would you be going Michael Gallup or Rashad Bateman this week?
Yeah, so they just announced that Amari Cooper is most likely not going to play this week, so I'll go Gallup.
Really?
Jordan, are you agreeing, or are you going Bateman?
I want to say Bateman, but man, if Amari Cooper's not playing, then I think I'd have to go Gallup. There's probably enough targets for him. Matchup, though, is not great. Marshawn Lattimore will probably see CD, but I think Gallup's probably the safer option. So I'd probably roll with Gallup there.
JL, are you in agreement here?
Yep, I'm on the Gallup side of this. The New Orleans secondary has been beatable outside of Lattimore. So if Lattimore is on CeeDee Lamb, then I feel like Gallup and possibly Schultz could see a ton of targets.
Yeah. Carlos in here saying, fellas, I lost CMC. Najee put up 6 points, and now I'm out of the playoffs. What's good, man?
Ouch.
Fantasy football sucks sometimes, Carlos. With CMC and Najee, I would have slotted your team for the playoffs. No questions asked after the draft, but that's rough. What's up, Lee? Welcome in. Glad to have you here.
What up, Lee?
Oh, man, are we making a connection here? Craig said, I had a cat named Smokey from age 5 until like 19. Are you my long-lost cat, Smokey? Smokey the Cat, we need answers here. Are you guys the same? Do you know Craig? Bam wants
and
to
I do just want to update that real fast. It's not that he's not expected to play. It's just that he's not feeling well, he said. So I apologize for it. But I don't know. That's a little risky for me on Thursday night. So again, if Murray Cooper and CeeDee Lamb are playing, though, I do lean Bateman.
I'm with you there.
Yep.
Bam wants to know, how are we feeling about Sony Michel versus Jacksonville? So I think this might be a good segue. Josh, do we have a Darrell Henderson update in the news today at all? Do we know anything on that? Then let's go ahead and segue with this question directly into the news, and that'll probably help out with the Sony Michel question as well.
Let's just start with the Darrell Henderson news. Darrell Henderson did suffer a quad strain in week 12. His status has got to be a little bit up in the air. So we'll kind of talk about this after news is wrapped up. But Yeah, Sony Michel, right, guys? Joe, we didn't really cover the news yesterday. We did talk about this stuff, but I did just want to mention CMC was placed on the IR in case you didn't hear. Pretty big news. Cam Newton will remain the starting quarterback for the Panthers going forward. Yeah, they announced it.
Come on.
He's going to remain the starting quarterback. Well, who do you think? What do you think? PJ Walker's the key here?
Well, I think after the first week in Arizona, I was like, why don't they do kind of this 2 QB system? I think it worked really well against Arizona. Yeah. And then they went away from it. Then Cam Newton goes 5 of 21. They lose by like 30 points. I think it was 23 was the actual number.
5 attempts.
Why would you do it? Like 5 completions and 21. Do what you want to do. CMC's out for the year. Protect him.
Exactly. That's the thing. CMC's out for the year. I think the Panthers are kind of just calling it a season, and they want to figure out what they have in Cam Newton. Is he worth bringing back next year? Is he worth giving any kind of contract? So I think that's kind of where they're coming from here.
That's logical. That makes sense.
It feels like 3 weeks ago we were talking about the Panthers as like this sleeper playoff team, right? With Cam Newton signing there. It was like, they're getting hot. Cam Newton's coming back. Maybe they're this team that can sneak into the playoffs, make a little run. And how that has changed tunes over the past couple weeks.
More news here. Dan Arnold will miss 4 to 6 weeks with an MCL sprain. Don't put him in your fantasy lineup. Taysom Hill is taking first team reps at practice. Looks like he will be the starter this week. Hey, I don't know if we're going to talk about him during the tiers today, but
we probably will.
Probably should be rostered in a lot of leagues. The Eagles are hopeful that Jalen Hurts will play this week.
Good.
That's what it is. Lions coach Dan Campbell does not seem optimistic about DeAndre Swift's availability this week. He said something like, I don't know the exact quote. Like
I said the exact quote in a video yesterday that we recorded. And I believe he said that he's still sore and it's hard to say that he will play this week. I believe was the direct quote from Dan Campbell. It's hard to say that he will play.
Yeah. It's hard to say that he will. Yeah, exactly. Alvin Kamara was limited in practice yesterday. I think he'll play, but we got to keep an eye on this. CeeDee Lamb and Ezekiel Elliott were full participants in practice yesterday. Jerry Jones just came out and said that Ezekiel Elliott will have a serious load on Thursday Night Football. A serious load. Watch out, guys.
Sounds very dirty.
Taking notes from Simon.
No one wants the serious load. So it looks like they're both going to play. Let's keep going. Darren Waller is considered week to week with his knee injury. Hey,
that's definitely my new go-to excuse. If I can't make a meeting, I'm sorry. I have a serious load.
Never mind. Okay. Deebo Samuel's expected to miss 1 to 2 weeks with his groin injury. Juwan Jenkins is expected to be a wide receiver 2 for the team in the meantime if Deebo Samuel's out. Dalvin Cook, he's expected to miss at least weeks 13 and 14 with a torn labrum. Alexander Madison. And that's all the news we had for today, guys.
They play the Lions this week too, which is juicy.
It is.
Yeah.
And I know last year we saw Alexander Madison. He kind of tricked everyone, right? It seemed like a slam dunk start in this one clear start he got
against
last
Atlanta,
year.
Yeah.
Yep. And so I was nervous. It was like 10 carries for not too much on the ground against Atlanta last year. But then this year, every time he's been given the opportunity, he has been great for fantasy. So I'm excited against the Lions in this one. Lee has a question for us. Wants to know, should I trade DK and Javonte for A, B, C, D, and OBJ or Freeman? IDK if that makes sense. But should I rather get OBJ or Freeman in that same trade? So DK, Metcalf, and Javonte for, is this Antonio Brown, CeeDee Lamb, and OBJ?
I have to imagine so, yeah.
It's got to be Antonio Brown.
Yeah. Jordan, how do you feel about this trade?
Depends on your RB depth, but I kind of like it. Although Javonte is what scares me. Javonte could be really good down the stretch. And I think DK I don't think he's going to be very good. I think Russ he just doesn't give a shit about anything. He's just doing what he wants to do. He's not even throwing to open Freddie Swains in the middle of the field. He's just, I don't know what's going on with Russ. He's doing his own thing. He wants out. He made that pretty clear at his press conference. I'm not too happy with my DK shares right now. I'd be willing to move. And you get A, B, and CD. If you have the RB depth, trading Javonte is, it's manageable, and he's not a bell cow, so it could be okay.
I think I'm with you. And because of what you said, I think I would rather Freeman here, even though there's some uncertainty with him in that Ravens backfield. Just get me another running back body on my roster if I'm moving Javonte over there. It's not like OBJ is like the make or break piece in this trade for me. So I'll take the running back, the position of scarcity. JL, how do you feel about this one?
This is definitely a team dependent one. In a vacuum, the value is great, I think. But if you and this is a move I'm making if I have running back depth and I need wide receiver depth.
Yep. Scott Fishing, you're saying, what kind of questions do you answer during office hours? Travel tips? It's mostly fantasy football, but if you bring travel tips questions, we'll gladly answer them, Scott.
It's a live Q&A, Scott. Whatever you want to talk about, you know.
In case he wants to know, should I start Schultz or Ertz this week? JL, which of these two players would you be starting?
Who are they going up against? Arizona has
the Bears.
Bears. All right. So, and then Dallas is playing New Orleans, which you already talked about. I would go Schultz here, especially if Amari Cooper is going to miss time this week. Schultz does play on Thursday, so keep that in mind.
Jordan, what about you? Are you going Schultz or Ertz?
I'm iffy on it because I do like Schultz as the talent, but Roquan Smith, the guy who tackled DeAndre Swift, is also dealing with a hamstring injury. He might not play this week. It's kind of up in the air as to his status. And I think that would be a big boost to Zach Ertz's value. We all expect Kyler Murray to be back. That's a big boost in general for that whole team, but it is in Chicago. So that alone, and with all the snow outside my front door right now, I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit snowy in Chicago over the weekend. We'll see. It's definitely going to be cold. So I think that's what makes me lean more towards the Schultz side with the talent. Although if Ertz has a good game, I would not be entirely shocked.
Some inside information there.
Josh, do you agree with these guys?
Yeah, I mean, especially with it going to be a snowy game, you have to go Dalton Schultz there. I wouldn't want to rely on any passing attack in a snowy game. And just so you know, we told Bam we were going to get back to a Sony Michel question, I think.
That is right. Justin in here, just want to shout out this real quick on a 7-game win streak. I love seeing all these win streaks in here right now. And Bam was asking Sony Michel versus Jax. And Justin had a similar question. Should I target one of the Panthers running backs or Sony? So we can kind of tackle both of those. Josh, how do you feel about Sony Michel right now? And would you prefer him over these Panthers running backs?
If Darrell Henderson, let's just say Darrell Henderson's out next week, I'm putting Sony Michel in my lineup over any Panthers running back, 100%. That's how I feel. However, I don't expect Darrell Henderson to miss significant time. So, and obviously Christian McCaffrey is going to be out for the year. So if you need a running back for the long haul, it's probably one of the Panthers guys. And I think they're both kind of need to be added. I lead Chuba Hubbard personally. But if you need one for 1 week, it's Sony Michel.
Yeah. Jordan, how do you feel about these players?
I like Sony. I think he will be good. But I think my only problem with it is that are the Rams going to kind of continue to abandon the run? You know, we've seen them not run the ball a lot. They're playing the Jaguars this week. It just feels like a game that Matthew Stafford just throws for like 5 touchdowns. But again, you know, so we'll see with Sony. He could definitely get in the end zone. There's going to be plenty of scoring opportunities. And I think that's why I lean his direction. But I would not be surprised if Chuba Hubbard had a good game. We've seen him had good games in weeks past. So why couldn't he do it again this week?
Yeah. JL, how do you feel here?
This week might be tough for him because all the Panthers are on bye. So it's definitely Sony this week. Definitely Sony this week.
I knew that.
I had no idea.
I had no idea until I looked at Chuba, and then I was like, wait, is this question for this week? Assuming it's this week, it's definitely Sony. But the rest of the season, I think I'd rather have Chuba.
If Darrell Henderson was out the rest of the season, I think Sony Michel would be a good play, honestly.
Yeah.
I do as well. And congrats, Kaysen, on making the playoffs. That is exciting stuff. Now, next step is winning a title. So hopefully we can get that title in your hands, the championship. Guys, we've got some more questions in here, but I want to go ahead and get started on our tier list for today.
Before I do, Scott Fish asked,
how
big does
when
that
I
load
saw
need to be
that,
for you to miss the meeting?
I was dying.
I'll tell you, Scott, right now, it doesn't have to be very big.
It was that.
Very weak constitution. Very weak. Not very big at all.
I had a load big enough this morning to miss our morning meeting. True story. I was not there, and it may have been related to some sort of hypothetical load. But this is a family show, so that is exactly the kind of load I took. It's a family-friendly one. Everybody poops. It's a book we've all read. Guys, today we are doing our week 13 quarterback start sit tier list. We've got a couple different tiers up here: must start, great start, solid start, emergency start, bench, and bye. And with us determining that the Panthers were on bye this week, I went ahead and threw Cam Newton in there. I assume there's one more team at least on bye right now, but I do not know that off the top of my head. So I will Google that while we're going through our first player. get the other bye in there. But how this is going to work for those of you who have not done tiers with us before is we're going to take turns picking a player that we want to talk about. So Jordan will pick the first player. We will then go in order, and each of us will say what tier we're putting them in and why. After all of us give our tier, we will average that, and whatever tier comes out, whatever number comes out of there is where that quarterback is going to end up. We'll go through as many of these guys as we can throughout the show to give you guys some better context for these quarterbacks in week 13.
Bam in here giving us some good knowledge, and I did.
Do you want the bye week?
It's the Packers, Titans, and Browns.
When the Browns were also on bye. I knew the Browns
Packers,
were on bye.
Titans, Browns, Panthers. Nice.
Yeah.
So where do you guys want to start? Do you want to start easy? Do you want to start hard?
That's your call, Jordan. Where do you want to start? Let's get.
All right. I want to start with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, we're starting hard, huh? We're starting hard.
We're starting hard. We're going Jimmy Garoppolo on the road in Seattle. Where would you put him?
Where would you put him?
I think I'd put him in. I'm going to go with emergency start.
So you have some confidence in him this week, but not enough to plug him in if you have other options.
That is correct.
Josh, are you agreeing with Jordan here? Is Jimmy G an emergency start for you?
Yeah, that's exactly where it falls in line with me. I had a lot of confidence in him last week, and he didn't really have the best game in the world. Definitely did not set the world on fire. His matchup coming up is not necessarily difficult, but I emergency start for sure.
JL, what about you?
I always forget my rule system here for the different positions because it changes.
I don't like the rule system.
You don't have to. It's mine.
Is he a solid start or is he not?
I don't think I can put him in solid start, assuming one QB league. So I'm going to put him in emergency start as well.
And it's unanimous. I'm going to put him in emergency start as well. I think that's exactly where he ends up. He's in like that QB 15 to 20 range, which you're not thrilled about throwing into your lineup, but you could do way worse off the waiver wire if you need a guy.
And no Debo, by the way.
And no Debo.
That's the big factor. No Debo.
That hurts for sure. Guys, before we move on to our next quarterback, we got a question from the Chosen Rose. Would you start Madison over Zeke? I have Eckler and Patterson at flex. Josh, you made the first noise, so we're going to ask you first. What do you think? You're going to make me answer.
Yeah.
And we talked about Madison's juicy matchup this week.
I'll start Madison over Zeke.
And Zeke's serious load versus Madison's juicy matchup. You're starting him over Zeke?
I have a feeling he's not going to get a serious load. I don't know. It's Jerry Jones. I know he has a little bit of a say in these things, but I think Zeke's going to be a 50-50 split with Tony Pollard, more or less. I'll take Alexander Madison.
Jordan, where do you lie on this one?
Last time Alexander Madison played the Detroit Lions, it was in Detroit. He had 25 carries for 113 yards, caught 7 passes, 40 receiving yards, and a touchdown. This is one of the games that Dalvin Cook missed, and the Lions give up a ton of points to the running back position. I'm all in on Madison. Madison will be very good this week and much better than Zeke.
So I guess the question is, he's got Eckler and Patterson starting as well. Would you start Zeke? Like, of those 4 backs, if you have to bench one, is Zeke the answer? Is Zeke the player you're benching? JL.
I wanted to answer the other question.
Okay, then answer the other question.
I'll answer that one real fast. Zeke's the one you're benching. Boom.
I think it's very close.
You're gonna go Madison.
It's Zeke. It's Zeke.
You're going Zeke.
Zeke's the one I'm benching. Yep.
Okay. I thought. Okay.
Yeah. Zeke, and it's not a great matchup. Saints have been very good against the run.
Yeah.
The rest of these guys, I'm pretty bullish on. Darrell Patterson does have a tough matchup against Tampa Bay, but he's just been so good.
How do you bench him? He's the only thing in that offense. That's it over there for the Falcons. What's up, Midnight? Welcome in. Glad to have you here. And Justin asking, is DK a buy low? I know Jordan touched on this a little bit earlier. Jordan basically saying, I don't think so.
I don't really
get it together rest of season. Josh, do you agree with Jordan, or would you view DK as a buy low in redraft?
Yeah, I was about to say in Dynasty, sure. In redraft, no. I don't think anyone's going to sell him low, first of all, and I'm not expecting like what we were seeing at the very beginning of the year.
Do you know how many total yards he has in his last 3 games?
Like under 100, I bet.
35.
Right?
11.
No, it's like 63.
It's about 70.
Okay.
Quick maths in my head. About 70 in 3 games. 8 receptions, 70 yards on 20 targets.
Gross. That's gross.
It's pretty brutal.
Josh, we're going to move on to our next quarterback now. You've got the pick on this one. Reminder, everyone in the chat, I see your questions. We're going to get to as many as you can throughout the show today, but if we do not get to it, make sure to come over to office hours right after this where we will answer any and all of your questions. Josh, who's the next quarterback we're going to be talking about here?
Let's we brought him up earlier. Matthew Stafford. It seemed like we kind of differed on him a little bit. I'm definitely not going to put him in a must-start category, but I am still very confident in Matthew Stafford. I'm going to put him in great start.
Great start from Stafford for Josh. JL, where are you putting Stafford?
I'm going to put him in must-start this week. I'm putting must-start. He's top 10. He's just inside the top 10.
That doesn't mean must-start.
And Jacksonville.
What is great start then? So a great start is outside of the top 10?
Is like 10 to 14, according to my numbers.
How many guys do you have in the must-start category? This is where picking
a
Matthew
QB1 for me
difficult. So what, you're going to put 10
must-start.
guys in must-start?
Yeah.
That's insane. No, you have like maybe 3 or 4 guys that are must-start.
What?
The thing is for me is because these are like your DFS core guys. If you're a DFS guy, are you going to have 10 guys you might put in your lineup? No, because they're not all must-starts.
I would have
I align more with the other two guys, JL. Like the must-starts are the ones where I think no one can even argue that they're in your starting lineup. If they're like a 9 or 10, someone that could be on that fringe, I view them more in the great start category. I'm with those guys. You're outnumbered, but that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. Keep doing you, JL.
Yeah, keep doing you. And I'm gonna keep arguing with you about it.
better.
Don't say you're with JLJ. I see him in the chat there. He said he was with me last time we were having this argument.
Yeah.
So get out of here, Jay. He just doesn't like people feeling left
I'm with
out.
Jay.
But JL, you're putting Matthew Stafford in the must-start category. You think he's a guy you're definitely putting in your lineup this week?
Now I feel self-conscious about it, but yeah.
No, own it, JL.
So Jay's saying quarterback 1 equals must start. So there's these great starts that no one's starting that are just on the bench in quarterback 1 leagues. So
hey guys, it's okay.
Yeah,
we can keep
That's why
going.
QB1 leagues are poop.
And I'm putting Matthew Stafford in the great start category.
That's
I think he's like a top 10 guy. He's in like that 10 to 11 range. So I'm not like, there's plenty of guys I would start over him. There's worlds where he's not in my starting lineup, but in most leagues, I probably am starting him this week at least. Jordan, where are you putting Matthew Stafford this week?
Yeah, I'm in great start. I don't think that I would put him as a must start because I think there's a world where he has a pretty low ceiling, but he does have a high ceiling if he throws 5 touchdowns. I just said that. So again, it just depends on how you feel about him. I think he's throwing a lot of picks. I don't think he's playing overly well. Is he going to dice up the Jaguars? Probably, but I don't think he's a must start. I wouldn't go that high for Matthew Stafford right now.
Oh, sorry. I completely blanked right there. I saw a comment in there. Brevin Jordan's not a quarterback. And I was like, no, he is not. Why is he on there? But we are going to end up with Matthew Stafford in the great start category. Yeah, maybe we just know something that everyone else doesn't, that Brevin Jordan is a quarterback.
I have a feeling like he played quarterback at some point in his football career. Maybe high school, I don't know.
Don't put Brevin in a box. Brevin doesn't like being put in a box.
You're right.
I'm pretty sure he did, actually.
We got Justin in here wanting to know, is Javonte at RB2 this week? Jordan, how do you feel about Javonte this week?
Okay, hold on. Let me find the matchup on my list. Ooh, the Chiefs. Okay, they play the Chiefs in Arrowhead. RB2, I would say so. The Chiefs have been better against the run, but they're still not that great, and Javonte is trending in the right direction. I think that he is definitely going to be an RB2, and I could see him scoring this week for sure. The way that the Broncos played last week, I think they're going to give the Chiefs a little bit of trouble this week, just depending on how Teddy Bridgewater plays.
Jill, how do you feel about Javonte? Do you agree that he's an RB2 this week?
Yeah, I have him as a back end RB2, so I think he'll likely be an RB2.
So he's a must start.
Must start, obviously. Yes,
must start.
If they're in the top 100, they're a must start.
I'm sorry, I had to do it.
What's up, Mike? Welcome in, my guys.
Up, Mike?
Mike said, who should I start with? Jefferson, D-Hop, OBJ, or T? Josh, we'll come to you first on this one. Which of these 3 players are you starting this week with Justin Jefferson?
If DeAndre Hopkins is out there, I'm playing him over OBJ for sure, and T. Higgins, who would be my second option here. So if DeAndre Hopkins doesn't play, it'd be T. Higgins over Odell Beckham.
Jordan, I see you nodding up there. Are you in agreement that it should be D-Hop?
I think so. I kind of want to play T. Higgins, though. He's going against the Chargers. Chargers have a great pass defense. We're going to see a lot of Joe Mixon, but he's going to see single coverage. He's probably not going to see Asante Samuel, which I like. It's tough, man. It's tough, but the answer is probably DeAndre Hopkins. But I think T could give him a run for his money for sure. Not
T
OBJ.
could give him a
never,
run
never
for-
OBJ. Just forget that.
JL, you get to pick our next quarterback. Who's it going to be?
I wasn't prepared for this question. Let's go with Mack Jones. Mack Jones for me this week is an emergency start. It's going against Buffalo. Very tough matchup. I think they'll be able to shut down this offense. So he's an emergency start, borderline bench for me.
Emergency start, borderline bench for JL. And man, this one is a little bit tougher for me because I've liked what we've seen from Mack Jones recently. It seems like he's upped his game a little bit, like the Patriots are trusting him a little bit more in this offense. But I think I'm with you, JL. It's not quite enough with the matchup with a rookie quarterback that I'm willing to put him in the solid start category. But it's not emergency start bordering on bench for me. It's emergency start bordering on solid start for me. I would rather start Mack Jones over Jimmy G this week. But I'm going to agree, Mack Jones, an emergency start for me as well. Jordan, where are you going with Mack Jones?
Yeah, I think I'll go emergency start. I want to say he'll be a solid start really badly, but there's an 80% chance of rain and it could snow. Like it was snowing a lot today in Toronto. Similar forecast to Buffalo. We know that it's going to be mad out there. I don't think Mack's going to have a bad game. I just think it's going to be a low scoring run defensive type of game where not conducive to fantasy points. And that's why I think he's probably an emergency start, borderline bench, just because of the atmosphere, the game, not necessarily the talent.
Makes sense. So we've got 3 emergency starts. Josh, where are you putting Mack?
You guys summed it up perfectly as an emergency start, especially like with everything Jordan said. I'm a little bit nervous about the weather there.
Yeah, Mack Jones landing in the emergency start, and that means it is my turn to pick a quarterback. Who do I want to talk about this?
You tell me.
You know, I'm going to talk about a guy that I think, according to JL's philosophy, would be a must start, but he's going to be a great start for me. And that is Kirk Cousins going up against the Detroit Lions. I know we talked about Alexander Mattison already and how we expect him to feast on the ground, but I think there's going to be enough going on in this offense for Kirk Cousins to have a great game too. Alexander Mattison likes getting involved in the passing game. Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen aren't going away, and this Detroit defense is not that great. And Kirk Cousins has been playing very, very well this year. Not just like well for fantasy. Like he has been a great quarterback. You're happy to have him on your teams. He's a great start for me. Jordan, where are you putting Kirk Cousins?
I am. Oh, this is tough. I think if I'm going to put Matt Stafford as a great start, I got to put Kirk as a great start. I'm borderline solid start. You know, Kirk Cousins has been pretty damn good. He's got 2+ touchdowns in his last 5 of 6, which is really good. You know, that's what you want in fantasy. The thing for him is the yards, the attempts against Detroit. We'll see. You know, he threw for 275, but he did throw for a touchdown and 1 interception against them. Not the best game from him last time around, but again, he's playing really, really well. If there's one team I like to watch every week, it's the Vikings. The Vikings playing a lot of really good games, for better or worse. They're entertaining. I like to watch them. Kirk Cousins is playing pretty good ball, and Justin Jefferson averages 100 yards per game indoors. Don't forget that stat when you're making your prop.
I will not. That is a great stat and truly epic, thinking that Kirk Cousins belongs in the must-start category. Josh, are you agreeing with truly epic here? Or are you agreeing with me and Jordan that he's in the great start category? Or are you putting him down in solid start?
Nah, he's a great start for me. He's like Jordan said, he's been playing lights out. There's no Dalvin Cook, so if anything, I think they could pass a few more times this game. Alexander Madison's a good pass catcher too, which could benefit Kirk Cousins in that regard. Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are both going to have very good games. I think Kirk Cousins is a great start.
JL, you're the last one. Where are you putting our boy Kirk?
I don't know if he's our boy. I don't know if I want
You're
that
right.
label.
I don't have great. He's fine. He's Kirk. You're a guy.
Yeah, I'm going to put him in great start as well. I do think that we could see a game script where they just like really feed Madison all game because it's the Lions.
Yeah. Putting him in great start right there. Sorry, Epic. He did not end up in the must start category, but he's up there in the great start with Matthew Stafford. Jordan, that means we are coming back to you to pick the next player that we're going to be talking about.
All right, let's go. Let's make this easy. Let's go Tom Brady, and let's just throw him in the must-start category because he's playing the Falcons. What else are we going to do with him? Huh? Let's just get it right through. Must-start Tom Brady because JL, unlike Matthew Stafford, he's going to have a good game. He's probably going to throw for 300 yards. He's probably gonna have 3 or 4 touchdowns. He's gonna be good, and you want to start him because the Falcons are terrible.
So it corresponds to
adds up.
them having a good game.
Yeah.
I
The
thought
better
this
the
was
game,
something totally different.
the more you want to start them.
Okay.
Apparently.
I thought we were.
Me too, Simon.
Yeah.
My brain's not operating at full capacity today. My sentences are just ending in my head. Like, you know what we should do, Jordan? You brought up a great thing. There's probably a couple of other names that we don't even need to discuss.
Put Tom Brady up there. Tom Brady belongs up there.
I don't even think we need to talk about Lamar Jackson.
I don't know how many more. Like, I think Lamar
Tom
Jackson belongs up there.
Does anybody think Lamar Jackson doesn't belong up there? Jordan, would you put Lamar Jackson anywhere besides must start?
Nah, you got to start him. He's must start every week, even with those 4 picks. Got to start him.
What about Kyler Murray? Is he a must start?
Mahomes.
I actually don't think he's a must start.
Okay, then we will not put.
And the only reason
there.
why is because they're playing in Chicago, so I don't know what's going to happen in that game.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why he's not a must start. You're probably starting him if you have Kyler Murray, but is he better than Lamar Jackson or Tom Brady? I don't think so. Not in that matchup, but we'll see what happens.
Not in the snow. Not in the snow.
Not if the weather's bad. Yeah.
You know what, Jordan? We will let you pick another guy now that we've got 2 people up there in the must start. Which guy would you like to talk about?
Justin Herbert. Which Herbert's going to show up this week? I think you got to give him solid start. I don't think I can give him great start. He just hasn't been playing well. He just, you want to play him. You want to hope you get the blow up game, but I just don't think I can put him as a great start, and he's definitely not a must start.
Solid start for Justin Herbert from Jordan. Josh, where are you putting Justin Herbert?
He's definitely a great start for me. He's putting up fantasy points. He's got a little bit of a rushing floor. I love his weapons, obviously. I think Cincinnati's going to be able to put up points as well. So it's got some shootout potential. So he's a great start for me.
Great start for Josh. JL, what about you?
Well,
I wouldn't blame you here, JL. I wouldn't blame you here if you.
He's a must start for me. I have him
right.
top 5 this week. Top 5.
Oh, JL's hoping for that ceiling game.
Yeah,
I
got Joe Burrow must start
40
too. Then
QBs
you have to.
in the must start. 40 QBs in the top 5.
And I'm in between JL and Jordan, which means I agree with Josh. I think he's a great start. I think in most scenarios you're plugging Justin Herbert into your lineup if you've got him. There's a list of probably 6 or 7 guys that I can make the argument for starting above him, but I'm most likely playing Justin Herbert. He's a great start for me, and that means he is going to end up in the great start category. Where'd you go? There you are on that blue. Justin Herbert, join Matt Stafford and Kirk Cousins there in the great start category. Guys, before we go on to our next quarterback, before Josh picks a guy, we've got a couple more questions in here. Javen wants to know Javonte or Monty this week. Josh, how do you feel about this one? Would you start Javonte Williams or David Montgomery?
I'll start David Montgomery.
Jordan, do you agree with Josh here? Would it be David Montgomery or is it Javonte Williams?
I do, yeah. He has a crazy snap share, and I'm pretty sure his rushing, I forget, there's a stat that he got like 100% of the carries or 100% of the receptions in like the last 2 weeks or something crazy like that. He's getting a ton of work right now.
Yeah. And then Bam wants to know thoughts on Pittman. Is he even flex worthy at this point? JL, do you think Pittman is worth a flex right now, or is his value falling that far?
He's absolutely worth a flex. He's Carson Wentz's main target. I know he hasn't been super consistent, but this week specifically, he's playing Houston, which is a decent matchup. I think he's absolutely flex worthy. We talked about it on Sunday. I can't remember where we landed on where Pittman was going to be rest of the season. You say wide receiver 2 or 3?
Yeah. Lower end wide receiver 2, I believe.
Yeah, that's about where I got it. Jordan, do you agree with that assessment that now you just got to kind of view him as a lower end wide receiver 2, or how are you viewing Pittman rest of season?
I like him a lot. I think, he's had a couple down games. He blew up a little bit like we've seen from some receivers, and then defenses focus on you a little bit more and it becomes tougher. He has to just kind of learn and grow. But against the Texans, he should have no problems. Going forward, I'm not too worried about it. I think you guys are right to think about low end wide receiver 2.
It's a great place to learn, the Houston Texans. Drew wants to know, pick one, Jamal Williams, Boston Scott, or Ramondre Stevenson. For me, if DeAndre Swift is out, it's probably Jamal Williams is where I'm going.
Easy Jamal Williams if DeAndre Swift's out. For me, I'm sorry.
So Josh is agreeing. JL, do you agree? Is it Jamal Williams?
This week, right?
This week, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very close. I think I would go Boston Scott against the Jets. God, these guys are back to back though.
Jordan, do you agree with JL?
Well, it depends on Miles Sanders. If Miles Sanders doesn't play, then I think absolutely.
What about
it's
Jordan
Boston
Howard?
Scott.
What if
I'm
Jordan
not
Howard
worried about
plays?
that because I think that they can split in a way that works, right?
Mhm.
But if you have Miles Sanders in there too, then it's too many guys. But we've seen Jordan Howard and Boston Scott both have great games together. You just hope that one gets in the end zone. Jamal Williams, we'll see. The Vikings aren't the best against the run. That's probably the safest option. But I think if you want to go for a ceiling game, you're probably looking at Boston Scott against the Jets. Their Jets are terrible. So we'll see.
Worst against the run.
Also, Scott in here saying squeaky wheel game for Jefferson again this week. Then he said, you laughed at me last time I said it and he blew up.
What?
This week
We
there's
would
been a lot
never.
of...
We laughed in the kindest, most we love that kind of way.
Here's
laugh is
how
like
we
a hug.
laughed. He said squeaky mouse gets the cheese, not
Cheese,
squeaky
yes.
wheel
That's
gets
what
the
we
grease.
laughed
That's
at.
what it
We
was.
laughed at you saying squeaky mouse gets the cheese. That was the best phrase I've ever heard.
I
Scott.
literally, after you said that, I was saying it to everyone. I was like, Justin Jefferson's going to have a blow-up game
Have
this
you
week.
heard my new
I'm with
phrase?
it. I swear. I was with you after that.
He's getting all the cheese. So I'm buying in. Scott is right though. He called this last time and it worked out. I would take some of that advice from Scott right here. He usually knows what he's talking about with these Vikings receivers, and other stuff too. Mike has a question. Starting Madison, who should I add with him? Javonte, CEH, or Pollard? Half PPR. Jordan, which of these three guys would you be starting alongside Madison? That is a good question.
I think it's probably Pollard. I think we're going to see a lot of Pollard this week. I know Jerry Jones can say that they're going to see a lot of Zeke. I don't believe it. Zeke hasn't been very good. He's been banged up. On Friday, they talked about potentially holding him out of this game. I just don't see a scenario where we see a ton of Zeke. Maybe we do. But again, Javonte against the Chiefs, I already said I don't really love that matchup. CEH against Denver, he should be fine. But I don't know. Maybe that's the way we should go. Maybe we should just go with CEH and just pray he scores. Hope he catches a few passes. I like Pollard though, man. Pollard is good. Pollard is really good, and I kind of want to play him.
That's kind of what I'm deciding between CEH and Pollard, but I would go CEH.
Yeah, CEH for me.
And I think I'm going Pollard. Pollard's been startable even with a pretty full workload for Zeke. You've been able to put him in your lineup and be okay with it in that flex spot. If we're expecting any sort of increased usage, I'm cool with it. But it is a close one. That is a great question, Mike. Guys, we're going to move on to our next quarterback here. Josh, I believe it is your turn to pick. Which QB would you like to talk about?
Oh, well, I'm going to throw Patrick Mahomes up in the must-starts, actually. And I know it's going to be debatable. He didn't have a great game the week prior, but he's coming off the bye. I think he's going to have a very good game. He's a must-start for me.
All right, who is that? The name?
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes in the must-start
Ever heard of
category.
him?
Yeah.
You know that guy.
Oh, Patty. Okay,
Yeah. Don't say that in front of his mom. You like Patrick.
Yeah, she doesn't like
Patrick.
JL, where are you putting Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, he's a must start.
He's a must start for me.
Absolutely.
Hey, okay,
We're in
let's
full
go, guys.
agreement
Let's
on
go.
Patrick Mahomes.
When we were talking about the must starts that we just had to throw in there, I almost brought up Patrick Mahomes, but I figured there'd be some question.
I think I did, but no one listened.
The
great.
The stories of his demise were greatly exaggerated at the beginning of the season. He is still great for fantasy football, even when the Chiefs are not performing all that well. JL, which name would you like to talk about next?
Who should we talk about? I saw someone asked about Tua.
Albert asked about Tua earlier up. Yep.
I got you, Albert. Man of the people. Let's go with Tua. Tua is a solid start for me this week. Going up against the Giants. Giants have been very beatable if you're not the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he'll be a solid QB2 this week.
Solid start for Tua from JL. And, man, I feel like I'm a little bit more bullish on Tua than most. I think he's going to have a good game against these Giants. I've liked what this Dolphins offense has been putting together. I think Tua is a great start. He's more in line with those kind of top 12 guys for me than he is with these 15 to 20 range guys that I'm putting down in solid start. Tua is a great start for me this week. I'd start him over Matthew Stafford, I think, right now. But it's close. We can water bet it. You guys want to water bet it?
Is there a fire extinguisher anywhere around here? I don't. Wow,
no, we are not up to code
Excuse
here.
me. Tua over Matthew.
Hey, can I
said
ask you guys a question real fast? Who had more fantasy points this week, Hollywood Brown or Tyler Lockett?
Because I was about to erase my board and write it up there, but we had a little bet.
Probably Tyler Lockett. Probably Tyler
Was it
Lockett.
Tyler Lockett
Yeah.
had 12.6 in PPR, and Marquise Brown had 13.1.
Oh,
Marquise Brown.
JL, you lost.
I lost.
Yeah.
Damn.
Jordan, where are
Pulls
you
the
putting
numbers and still
Tua?
loses.
We've got one great start, one solid
I think I'm
start.
solid start. I don't believe in Tua that much. I think the Giants defense is actually pretty damn good. I think they're going to limit what Tua can do. Like, he's going to have to dink and dunk again. I don't think there's going to be a ton of points in this game. They did hold down Jalen Hurts, and to be fair, Jalen Hurts has been playing pretty damn well himself. So I think the Giants defense is trending in the right direction. I think they're going to be playing pretty well. I don't think the Dolphins is going to be great. We'll see what happens. I know that Devontae Parker potentially could come back. Fuller is not expected back, but both are eligible to return this week. So we'll see what happens with them. It's really just the Jalen Waddle show. And I think that potentially the Giants could hold him down, but he's been pretty damn good. So maybe they won't be able to.
Also, Jay saying, Simon, that's insane. You know what? Maybe I need to reevaluate, but that's
I already
about
wrote it on the
range
board.
that's the range. No, I'll accept the bet. I said it, and that's how I feel right now. But
are we just doing a gentleman's bet here?
yeah, or we can do a water
Yeah,
bet, whatever
we
you
don't.
want to
We can't pay out our water bets. So
It's a gentleman's bet. You can make fun of me.
JL, do you want to be on the Stafford side with me?
I'm sorry. What was the bet?
Stafford versus Tua, week 13.
Oh, I'll take Stafford. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put 2 in solid start as well.
That means he ends up in the solid start
Josh,
category.
In half PPR, Tyler Lockett beat Marquise
we did
Brown.
we did not determine what scoring we
usually assume PPR, so I'll take.
Yeah, and it was a gentleman's bet too, so
yeah,
it's all good.
And we are gentlemen.
Yeah, we are.
If nothing else,
Gentlemen with huge loads.
I almost said it, Jordan. I was this close.
It's the theme of the show.
Scott saying, do not steal my squeaky mouse gets the cheese line. He said, okay, you can, but I do say it often. It's just more fun. I agree. It is more fun. And it is,
oh, by the way, Jay once in the bet. So I put him up there, and Jay, you were in that Hollywood Brown versus Tyler Lockett bet with me on the Brown side. So let's go, Jay.
So you definitely lost then.
I digress.
Guys, the next guy I'm going to bring up is Jalen Hurts. So I know he did not play that well in his last game, but like Jordan said, he has been playing very well this season, and I still have confidence in him. He's in that must-start category for me this week. Jalen Hurts is a must-start. Jordan, where are you putting Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, he's a must-start. I don't know if you guys saw the reports that Devonta Smith was fuming after the game because he didn't get a target on the last 2 drives, last 2 minutes. Jalen Hurts leads the Eagles in obviously passing and rushing. So I think that he's pretty good. He's got almost 700 yards and 8 touchdowns on the season. He can easily get one against the really terrible Jets. But I think Devonta Smith got a pretty big game as well, the way that he acted after that game.
Yeah. Josh, where are you going on this one?
He's such a borderline must-start, great start for me. I'll put him in. I'll put him in great start because those are the only 3 quarterbacks I really want to put in must start for me personally.
Okay, great start for Josh and JL. Where are you putting Jalen Hurts? We've got 2 must starts and a great start.
According to my very scientific rules, he's a must start.
Yeah.
Josh knew it was coming. Jalen Hurts is going to end up in the must start category. That means, Jordan, we are back to you to pick the next quarterback we're going to be tiering here. Who would you like to talk about?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. And where are you putting him?
Solid start.
Oh!
Yup.
What?
I don't think he's going to have a good game. I really don't. I don't think he's going to have a
good.
good game. I think Belichick's going to give him fits. I think it's going to be a tight matchup. And I don't know how many games you guys have watched of Josh Allen. He has been god-awful in the red zone. God-awful. He can't complete a pass in the red zone to save his life. He's relying on longer touchdowns. He's been playing better. He's been playing worse up and down seasons. Still an MVP candidate. I just don't think he's going to be able to get it done against the Patriots. Not in the way that we expect him to as a must-start or even a great start. I would happily start Stafford, Herbert, and Cousins over Josh Allen this week.
The number 1 overall quarterback on the season so far in the solid start category from Jordan. He says, I don't care how many points you scored. I don't like this matchup. Josh, where are you putting Josh Allen?
It's also supposed to snow on Saturday in Buffalo, snow and rain on Sunday, snow on Monday, snow on Tuesday. Maybe that's a positive for him. He's a great start for me. At the top of the great starts, actually.
The top of the great starts for Josh Allen. So we have a solid start and top of the great starts. JL, where are you putting Josh Allen?
For some reason, I always remember this picture that Sammy Watkins tweeted out when he was in Buffalo. It was like his driveway, and like half of his car was covered in snow. And that's always what I think about when I think about Buffalo now, because I don't know anything else about Buffalo. That's it.
I've been there twice, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That's all you have to say about it.
A must start from JL.
Saw hockey games.
And I'm in the great start category. I'm most likely starting Josh Allen. I'm going to have trouble benching him for those guys that you mentioned, Jordan. I just don't know if I could. I don't know if I could start those guys.
See, you guys got to have more conviction. Courage and conviction.
I'm convicted,
man. It's
Josh Allen being pretty good.
We'll see.
Josh Allen ends up in the great start category. The one must start and the one solid start canceled each other out. Justin in here says, big news. Do I do this? I get Najee and Judy and give up Jamar Chase and J-Rob or Gibson. So Josh, how do you feel about this one?
No. No.
I mean, it's not like heinous. If I saw the trade go through, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. But I think I'm on the Chase side here.
And why is that?
Because Jamar Chase is a lot better than Jerry Jeudy. And J-Rob is close enough to Najee.
But isn't it because Ben Roethlisberger is still quarterbacking the Pittsburgh Steelers? Isn't that the real problem? The difference between Joe Burrow and
it kind of helps him get
Ben Roethlisberger
catches though, Najee, because it's just
Najee is leading the league in snaps. He has like 800 snaps. The next closest guy only has like 720, and he still only got Derrick 6 points last week. Did you guys know that Derrick Henry is second in the league in rushing?
That's nuts.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Was he have the? You said second in rushing attempts?
No, second in the league in rushing, like total yard, like rushing yards.
I'm pretty sure. I think Kyle Yates tweeted out this past weekend that he still is leading the league in rushing attempts.
Probably.
That's insane. And he's still the 6th overall running back in fantasy with only 8 games played compared to all these guys with 11 and 12. That is absolutely bonkers. JL, how did you feel about this one?
I'm not doing this, especially not for Gibson. They just feeding Gibson last night. I would rather have Jamar Chase and Gibson and J-Rob.
Also, Marty in here saying, sup, guys? Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. Thanks, Marty. Same to you. And he said, thanks for giving all your fantasy info every day. Of course, man. We love doing it. Thank you so much for coming in, asking questions, and hanging out with us. We appreciate it so much. And, guys, I forget who picked the last quarterback.
It might have been me. Did I pick Josh Allen?
Yeah.
So Josh, you're up. Who would you like to talk about next?
Let me.
We probably got time for a couple more in here.
I know. I think I saw Derrick Carr pop up a couple times in the chat.
Yes.
And I know he fits in right next to Tua for me, pretty much. So he's a solid start.
Wow. Solid start for Derrick Carr from Josh. JL, where are you putting Derrick Carr?
I'm gonna throw Derrick Carr in a great start. It's going up against Washington, and despite what we saw last night, Washington's defense is still not very good.
Seeing Washington play last night makes me tempted to bump him down to solid start, but it just doesn't make sense that like addition by subtraction. They lose Chase Young, the defense gets better. No, that was a Seahawks offense issue. It has to be. I still think Derrick Carr's a great start. He's got a great end of season schedule, including this game. He's a great start for me. Jordan, we've got 1 solid start and 2 great starts. Where are you putting Derrick Carr?
He's a great start. And I almost want to say he's a must start, but he's not quite there. He is a great start, and he is leading the league in passing yards. So he's going to be putting up some numbers against Washington, and the Las Vegas defense has allowed, I believe, 30 points in the past 3 games. So they're going to need some points. They're going to need some yards in order to win this game. I think Derrick Carr can deliver that for them and for fantasy players.
So borderline must start for Jordan right there, but Derrick Carr ends up in the great start category. JL, who would you like to talk about next? We can probably get 2 more names in here.
Let's see. Maybe we should do a bench since there's no bench people on there. Let's go with Teddy B. I'm benching Teddy B this week, guys.
I forgot about him. I meant to bring him up.
I'm benching him.
Yeah, and I am also benching Teddy B. He's outside of those top 20 guys for me, so he's going to land in that bench area.
Damn, no love for Teddy Two Gloves.
No love for Teddy Two Gloves right now. Jordan, you got some love for Teddy Two Gloves?
I think there's opportunity. Yeah, I think I think he's a emergency start personally. Some guys got to be benches, but I think that Teddy has some upside. Not a lot. He's a low ceiling guy, but he's got some upside.
Yeah.
Josh?
Playing Kansas City, he has a shot to move up the tiers, but
I like that.
I don't have any confidence playing him. He's a bench for me.
Okay, so he's going to end up in the bench.
Can I just
category.
rapid fire some names that are like Ben Roethlisberger, bench him, Zach Wilson, bench him, Andy Dalton, right?
Yep. Golf.
I'm benching Golf.
Jordan, any of these names you wouldn't bench?
How do you guys feel about Wentz really quickly? Because I've been tempted to bench him against Houston. I don't think they're going to pass the ball that much.
He'd be a solid start for me.
I think he's a solid start for me as well. Bordering on that emergency start category. But
it's against Houston though. Houston.
I just don't think they're gonna there was a game,
Taylor game
2 weeks ago where they didn't pass the ball at all because they don't have to do that to win. So I don't know. We'll see. It's just a matchup where you're like, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't.
Well, Jail, we're just missing where you would put him, and then we can throw him in. It's here. We've got two solid starts. And was that a bench from you, Jordan, or an emergency start?
I'll go emergency start. Not quite bench. Emergency start.
I have him right next to Tua, so solid start.
Solid start.
Cool.
So a great start then.
Solid start for Carson Wentz.
Must start.
Hey guys, before we go, we got some questions. Taysom, yes, Taysom Hill, please. So we're going to talk about some Taysom Hill, and I guess I'll go first here. And it's between that emergency start and bench category. I know he's getting first team reps, but they do weird things with the quarterbacks there. I wouldn't be shocked to see some Trevor Siemian throughout this game as well, even with Taysom as the starting quarterback. I'll put him in emergency start. He's got that rushing upside that puts him into the emergency start category for me, but he's on that line. Taysom Hill is an emergency start for me. Jordan, where are you putting Taysom?
I honestly think I'd put him as a solid start. I think that, we're talking about Wentz having potentially he may not do a whole lot, but Taysom's going to have to do everything for them to win, no matter what. He's going to have to run the ball. He's going to have to pass the ball. Alvin Kamara's already banged up. So imagine if they don't even have much of Alvin Kamara. He's limited. Taysom's going to have to do everything to win this game. And I believe last year he still completed 65% of his passes, even though he had one really bad game. Dallas isn't the best defense. They're playing better. They can force turnovers, but I think he's going to be fine personally. I think he could be a solid start.
Solid start. Josh, what do you think here?
Well.
Solid. And JL?
He's a emergency start for me. I don't think he's talented enough to put the whole team on his back personally. And I think Trayvon Diggs is going to feast.
His running ability kind of puts him there for me.
And Dallas isn't good at stopping the run either. So you think from that perspective, you have to cover Kamara and Taysom. And we know every time Taysom runs the read option, he pulls it anyways. So he'll have plenty of rushing yards.
he's got a tail 100% of the time. You play poker with Taysom Hill, he just bluffs every single time.
You know he's bluffing.
Yeah.
Look, turn on the tape. It's just what happens. Goal line, he fakes it, he pulls
accidentally
it every
folds
time.
when he has a good hand.
Guys, that is going to be it for our tier list for today. Real quick, we got a couple questions in here. Let's rapid fire through these before we jump off. But a reminder that we will be live in 15 minutes answering your questions at Fantasy Football office hours. Marty wants to know, need two, Tua, Burrow, Heineke. So I'm going Tua and Burrow. Josh, where are you going here?
Same, Tua and Burrow.
Jordan?
I think I'm going with Burrow and Heineke. I think Heineke could have a good game against the Raiders. Stop doubting him, man. He's a good quarterback.
I'm not doubting him.
I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's crazy.
I am. That's true.
And JL, where are you going here?
I lost all respect for Taylor Heineke yesterday when he couldn't even remember his own teammate's name.
Not him.
What did we say? So not him. Yeah, Tua Burrow. I was like, what was the question again? I just wanted to say what I wanted to say.
You kind of answered it.
Matt wants to know, in a guillotine league, should I be cutting Herbert for Lamar, Hurts, or Murray? I've had Allen and Herbert for half the season. Yeah.
Lamar Murray.
Lamar.
I would. Yeah. I probably wouldn't cut him for Hurts, but maybe.
I think I'd cut him for any of those three guys. Jordan, what do you think?
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, I would go after Lamar personally first.
Yeah.
Udai wants to know, should I trade Kamara for CD and Henderson? So Kamara for CD and Henderson. JL, would you be doing this trade?
No.
Josh, I saw you give out a little. What are you thinking here?
I didn't look at the
My initial instinct was yes, actually. But But Henderson's dealing with his injury. If Henderson was healthy, I'd be like, yes. I would say yes. I'm still okay with it.
Still okay with it. And Jordan, what do you think?
Wide receivers could use a bump.
I don't think I would do it. I like CD, but like you mentioned, Josh, Henderson is hurt. We don't know the extent of the injury, how long it's going to be. And to be honest, they haven't been running the ball enough to where Henderson he's had good games, but he hasn't got enough opportunity to kind of realize that opportunity and have really good games for fantasy. So I think I'd probably hold with Kamara and pray that he comes back to form.
10-man league too. I feel like it's better to consolidate, try and get the stud as opposed to going for a depth move here.
Both those guys would be starters, though, for sure. A team.
Yep. I'm with you guys, though, on that one. Guys, that is going to be it for our show today. A reminder, come join us for office hours and ask any more questions you've got over there. And before we leave, if you have not followed our boy Jordan on Twitter, go and follow him right now. It's your boy Jay Rich. And make sure you are checking out his morning show, Wake Up with Ray G on Bets TV. These are two of the best guys in the space. They know their stuff. Seriously. They're entertaining, and it's such a great watch. So make sure you're checking that out. Sometimes I'm in those comments.
Sometimes you'll find me if I can wake my ass up early enough.
Sometimes J.O. will make an appearance. Then I'll see him pop out. I'm like, thank you, J.O.
Damn it. I go in there, heckle a little bit.
Jordan, thank you so much for coming on.
Trading makes fantasy fun. Let's go.
There it is.
It does. Yeah. But Jordan, we really appreciate you taking the time. This is always fun having you on. That's going to be it. That's going to be it for us today, guys. Well, not it for the whole day. For the next 10 minutes. We'll see you over in office hours shortly. Until then, adios, everyone.
Peace.
Bye.
Woo!